Welcome to the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. From go-karts to Formula cars, the speed demons of the future are taking their first real steps towards a dream career at the pinnacle of motorsports. With super license points on the line and plenty of friendly competition, the only FIA-certified driver development championship in the region is gearing up for an incredible start.
Welcome to the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia for this brand new championship, Formula 4 Southeast Asia. I'm Daniel Woodruff.
And I'm Renai Matu, and over the next coming weeks, we'll get to know the ins and outs of this new competition.
New faces, new formats, a sweet new ride.
Plenty of race car action. Let's jump right in.
The FIA Formula 4 Global Championship format has officially arrived in Southeast Asia. One of 12 Formula 4 championships run globally, this one is unique in that it is a single-operated championship run by the Meritus GP team. With a single make of car, the FIA F4 homologated race cars. It's the step on the ladder to Formula 1, marking that all-important transition from go-karting to single-seater Formula racing. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's taken 3 years to get here, but very intense work over the last 6 months. But it's been a fantastic experience for everybody involved to work with the FIA and work with all the ASNs in the region. And the benefit is now that all the young drivers in Asia have this fantastic FIA championship on their doorstep.
It's the ladder to Formula 1. It's a direct entry point. What does it mean to a young driver to be able to pick up a super license point?
What FIA are trying to do is simplify the route to F1 for all, or the route to a professional career in motorsport for all young drivers. At the moment it's very confusing because you've got Formula 4, Formula Honda, Formula this, Formula that, Formula Mazda, but now the FIA is saying it's F4, F3, F2 and F1. And along the way, you know, the winners, the top 10 in each championship earn FIA super license points. So that when you get ready for F1, when you have the money, when you have the talent, in 4 or 5 years after you start, you have collected all the FIA super license points that allows you to get an F1 license. The main unique thing is that for Asian families, it's cost effective. You can go to England, Germany and Italy and pay €300,000 to do F4, or you can stay in Asia and do a 30 race championship for €100,000. In fact, F4 Asia is cheaper than karting.
So here we are, the first race just around the corner. What can we expect at home? What are we going to see from the season, and especially what are we going to see in the first race?
Our target audience is 15 to 17-year-old or 15 to 18-year-old drivers. So we're trying to get them to stay calm, remember what to do, okay?
Remember your training.
Remember your training. You know, like remember you got 2 1-kilometer straights here, so remember to breathe and just get some air into the brain and relax. And as James Hunt would say, have fun.
Have fun.
Have fun.
So, plenty to look forward to. Over 6 race weekends, we will see 30 races take place right here at Sepang and in Buriram, Thailand. Multiple races mean plenty of on-track experience for the rookies who will also be getting the opportunity to experience race weekends with the best of them. This Formula 4 series is held on race weekends that also feature international events such as the Touring Car Series Asia, Ferrari Challenge and Asian Le Mans. Each race is an opportunity to earn valuable championship points for the title. 25 points for first place all the way down to 1 point for 10th. The points all add up for an eventual championship winner. And as this is an FIA certified championship, the top drivers will all be rewarded with their first super license points as they work towards the possibility of racing in Formula 1.
Hi, my name is Mohammad Nalwala. I'm 17 years old and I'm from India.
I'm Akash Gowda, 17 years old, from India.
My name is Prezi Martono. I'm 16 years old and I come from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Kia ora, my name is Fane Kakia. I'm 20 and I'm from Tokyo, New Zealand.
I'm here to do the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship because it's the first time happening and I want to take racing to the next level.
I always wanted to be in F1, and since Formula 4 is the starting step for it, I think, you know, I'm really looking forward for it.
First championship to do, all the cars are equal. The engine is a 2.0 Renault, so that makes it reliable.
Apart from the fact that I love cars, been racing basically my whole entire life, I now see a huge opportunity for me in the motorsport world to become a professional motorsport athlete. That's why I'm here.
It's a lot exciting and, you know, there's so much you can do with the car. You can push it to the limit.
Well, it's really different because these cars have front wing, have suspensions, while go-karts don't have suspensions and all, you know?
It's closer to home and I can learn just as much as if I do this championship than if I do a championship in Europe.
I've been karting last year and I was the national karting champion last year. So moving next level, so trying to go further and further. Now Asia, probably next to Europe. New competition, new drivers, new faces. Good to make new friends.
A brand new championship means a brand new car, and somebody who knows the F4 car inside out is Sean Thompson. Can you tell us a little bit more about the car that we have here today?
Okay, this car was developed about 3 years ago for FIA, and it's designed for safety for young 15-year-old drivers. Okay, so emphasis on safety from crash, any foreign objects. I mean, even when we have it, the driver sits really low, so really, really safe. Okay, with the crash testing they've had, drivers have been walking away without any injuries. So, extremely strong, safe car for kids.
I know there are a lot of similarities between this car and an F1 car that really excites young drivers when they make the step up to cars. I know there's things like paddle shift systems and wings. Can you talk us through that?
Well, the paddle shift system really, it makes the car easier for the drivers to train. It doesn't make it any faster, and it's a modern, okay, because we're trying to emulate the F1 cars, so we have paddle shifts. We don't have a hand clutch, so they still have to use a foot clutch. Aero, again, it's about learning at this level, learning how effective aero can help you in corners, affecting you in braking. So even though it's a very little value, it does have some effect, and again, they learn with their engineers and driver coaches what these things do, how changing them slightly can improve the performance of the car.
So we know that this chassis is manufactured by Miguel, and it's, you know, as you said, one of the best ways for a car to begin his single-seater career. What about the engine? What powers this thing?
This is a Renault engine we've chosen here for Malaysia. We're the first championship to run the Renault engine. It has no turbo on it, which is good because the fact that we're trying to minimize issues, minimize any kind of imbalance between performance. So therefore, it's 160 horsepower. It's exactly on the limit that FIA permits for the championship. So without a turbo, and here in Malaysia and Southeast Asia, with the here 50-odd degrees track temperature,
yeah, of course,
50
it's really
degrees,
hot. Yeah.
So therefore there's no problem with the engine breathing. Tires for us, we have chosen the Hankook tire because it's a follow-on from the Asia Cup series. So it's exactly the same tire we've used, which again eliminating any development time. And Hankook are the same tires used in other Formula 4 championships, the British Championship run, I think the Australian Championship run. So again, it's again a target for everybody else for consistency.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for that lowdown. I for one cannot wait to see them out on track. Hopefully, it's action-packed one.
Exactly.
What a car, but this one's more my color. After the break, we meet a driver looking to make his mark in the championship and go behind the scenes with the engineers who will ensure these cars can be pushed to their limits.
The super license points is a new thing. It's good they've introduced this.
To be able to earn super license points so early on in your motorsport career, so that's another thing that attracts me to F4 SEA.
Well, super license points is really important because to reach Formula 1 you need some points.
Points that you have to collect in order to get a super license to race in F1, obviously.
That's a really good starting step.
To be able to be labelled as a person that holds at least 1 point, one super license point, oh, that's awesome. It's a great feeling.
And this championship gives us the opportunity to get some.
I think it's a really good first step to make if you want F1 as your goal.
Through my goals that I want to reach do require those things.
When you have the experience, you gain the points. Each championship you do, each race you do, you get a certain amount of points where you're eligible to get the super license, and then you're eligible to race, apply for F1.
There are drivers here from Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, even Australia, all gearing up for their first race here at Sepang International Circuit.
It's a circuit I know quite well, and as a race car driver, it's one of my favorite tracks. Having had success here in the Asia Cup Series, the predecessors to this championship, I'll be here to help guide the drivers and help them familiarize themselves.
Speaking of drivers, I believe there is one guy here who is the man to be.
I'm sure he'd love to hear you say that.
Hi, I'm Jordan Love. I'm 17 years of age and I'm from Perth, Western Australia.
Number 79, Jordan Love has had a taste of winning. The Aussie claimed the Asia Cup title last year in scintillating fashion. His campaign included a stunning 14 wins out of 15. That is a whopping 93% win rate, making the 17-year-old Australian the one to beat here at Sepang.
Yeah, last year was full of success, I think. You know, it felt awesome to have a win almost every weekend. That was an awesome feeling, and you know, something I still strive for in my racing. You know, I think that feeling of winning will never go away and never change. It's still an awesome feeling.
His experience has him coming back to race here as the competition takes the form of Formula 4.
Well, I had a great time last year racing Formula BMW. You know, it's so awesome here. You get so much track time, and it's just a massive learning curve. I think it's good fun to come back, and you know, in the new car, you know, it's a thing of the future sort of thing, and I've done some racing in the past in it, so I'm sort of familiar with the car, and yeah, it's good fun. I actually had to go in a mate's go-kart when I was about 10, and it was awesome fun, so I started racing go-karts then and did that for about 5 years, and then had some more success in the go-kart, so we thought, oh, we'll give it a shot moving up, and just sort of gone from there, really. I don't think I would be doing it if I didn't like it. It's just awesome. I think the adrenaline, you know, the speeds that you're going, it's just an awesome feeling. It's something I love doing.
Great stuff, Jordan. Can't wait to see him out on track.
The great thing about this championship is that all the drivers are on an even playing field. It really is the driver that makes a difference. And a one-make championship means that all the drivers are in the same F4 race car.
And a one-team championship means they have the same access to resources like coaches, training, and data collection.
Meritus GP are the exclusive race engineering service providers for the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. And it comes with a solid track record, having won 36 FIA international titles.
But over the last 20 years, Meritus GP have won 36 FIA championship titles in Asia. 4 of our drivers have gone to F1. 1 of our drivers won Le Mans 24 Hours last year, and 1 of our drivers won Indy 500 this year. So it's got great brand, quality brand heritage, and it's an Asian brand owned by a Malaysian company. And because of the experience and the talent that Meritus has developed over the last 20 years, we now have the engineers and technicians and mechanics to run a one-team F4 Southeast Asia Championship.
Through the services provided by Meritus GP, these young drivers have access to engineering services, race engineers, driver coaches, and professional technicians and mechanics.
It's a high-level racing car, so you know, we teach them how the suspension works, how the aero works, how by using more aero you generate more downforce, that's more grip, how to trust the tires, how the tires work, and this is the basics on how to maximize the potential of the car that they have.
The Formula 4 series is giving drivers valuable on-track experience. Over the course of 30 race weekends this season, they will get over 300 hours of track time. After each session, race data is shared with the drivers to find their individual areas of improvement.
In many ways, racing is it's influenced a lot by your budget. So drivers with the bigger budgets have access to the better teams and all that. So that's not quite a level playing field. But in our thing, it's one budget, so everybody is equally with the best team. Any driver can get the experience and the knowledge of the best driver on the grid through the data that we record, and can download and compare and improve their technique going forward.
In order to make the most of that on-track experience, qualified coaches help make sense of it all through analyzing data collected and translating it into valuable lessons for the drivers.
You know, obviously with the data, the telemetry, the videos, track walks, anything that I think can help the driver, I pass on to them so that in the future they can, you know, when I'm not here, they can use that intuition and integrity to go and seek that advice themselves.
The championship looks to bridge the gap between karting and Formula 3, with drivers experiencing high levels of engineering support with races held to international safety standards.
Well, my coach, Arman Ibrahim, is probably one of the best I've ever, met and ever took training from. His experience is really helping me to build my experience.
These guys are good. I mean, so I look up to these people, learn lots of things from them, because They've been here and they know it better than me. So yeah, it's good.
It's time for a break. When we return, we take a look behind the scenes at the team's preparation and we hear from the drivers after testing in the Formula 4 car. Welcome back to the Formula 4 Southeast Asia. In this episode, we're getting to know the championship in and out before things get hot and sweaty on race weekend.
A lot of work goes into the preparation before a brand new season of racing, more so for a brand new championship.
For the engineers and technicians, this means getting to know the fine details of a car before the season starts.
And for the engineers and technicians, that meant a trip to France to learn how to build and assemble these cars.
Ooh la la! The Formula 4 Southeast Asia is a single-operated championship with the race services supplied exclusively by the Meritus GP team. The team is made up of mostly Malaysian engineers and technicians. They've had hands-on experience with the cars because the FIA Formula 4 homologated race cars were assembled in France by the team's Malaysian technicians from the ground up during 6 weeks of intensive training with the chassis and engine partners.
We sent a team to France to actually build all 21 cars. The mechanics were to yet a higher level of technical expertise, put it that way, because we had the ability to go and see the engine builders, computer designers, the composite manufacturers and fabricators and many, many other things. So, I see that when my boys came back, they're definitely more confident than me.
They saw the car in the most basic form. They saw the monocoque coming directly from the manufacturer, so just an empty tub, no screws, nothing, not painted or anything. So they had to really, they saw everything from the most basic format, and then working from the build sheets, learning to build the car according to the manufacturer's recommendations. So they got to learn about all the special glues, screws, torquing of everything to build it from scratch.
Through the use of local talent, the championship is developing the professional careers in the sport of not only the drivers, but the engineers and technical support as well.
Basically, this is the first step on an Asian motorsport ecosystem, providing drivers with the opportunity to race at the highest level possible, certified by FIA in Asia, and also providing opportunities for engineers and mechanics and TV crews and editors and accountants to work within the sport and develop careers within the sport. So it's a start of an Asian ecosystem.
The cars literally ran straight away the day after the container arrived. So it was a little bit nervous because it's a brand new car. The engine installation that we have, we are the only people in the world to have it, and we're the first people to run it. That it worked 99.9% flawlessly, straight out of the box, was a great testament to the team that went to build the cars. And so that was a big relief.
All this valuable training is now being put to use in this season's inaugural competition.
Joining me now is GB3 driver Santino Ferrucci. Santino, you have a lot of experience with different cars around the world. How do they compare to a Formula 4 car?
I've mainly driven faster cars like Formula 3, GP3, but because of my age, I actually missed doing Formula 4 coming out of karts. And I'm actually quite disappointed I did skip the SCEP, because it's a great step out of karting just to learn how to drive a junior formula.
And the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship is the first of its kind in this region. What does this do for young drivers in the area?
I think it's great because there's a lot of go-karters out here that are just trying to find a stepping stone into cars. And I mean, you really have to go to Europe, but the Southeast Championship with Formula 4 gives them a good stepping stone into learning how to drive a Formula car, how to work with the tires, to work with an engineer, to do some data and feedback, and it's great to learn before you go into F3 or GP3. Well, every driver has a certain driving style, and like I said, you can't, no one driver can be fast everywhere. So when you have a great variety of drivers, you have one person that's always doing something slightly better than you, and that way everyone can learn off that one person for that one turn and improve their driving that way. Well, we race GP3 here later this year in October, and I actually have never been on the track before, and considering we only get 45 minutes of practice, which isn't much.
Yeah.
I figured we can come out, I can get a chance to drive an F4 car and learn the circuit.
Cool, thank you very much. Well, I hope you had some fun.
Time now to see it all get put together. Race weekend just around the corner.
The most important thing at testing is not so much the lap time, but getting a good understanding of the car. The drivers have to get used to the paddle shift gearbox, finding the limit of the car, and getting used to this technical circuit.
Testing for the first season took place over 2 days. It was the first time some of the drivers had been in the car, and the first time for many in a single-seater Formula 4 car, a novelty that wasn't lost on the rookies.
This F4 car is amazing. First time with pedal shift, heads-up display. It's just such an awesome car to drive. The aerodynamics, I can go around corners at 180k an hour without lifting off. It's just an awesome feeling.
Physically, it's a lot more demanding because you're sat in the cockpit, which is like 50 degrees sometimes in there.
Driving this car is a lot more physical, and you have to do a lot more things before getting into the car.
I guess it's more, you have to work more on your neck and like your leg muscles because you have to jam the brakes harder. And so I've just been preparing myself physically, just getting stronger, just getting more endurance.
This is different. It's a lot more harder and a lot more competitive.
I mean, we've had, like, I think 12 kids coming directly from karting, directly into these cars. It was fun teaching them just to use a clutch so they could learn how to use a clutch and to pull away. It was really funny, you know. It's something that we always take for granted, you know, but for them it's not, you know, so it's fun. But now their own hand, after 2 days, their own hands on it, and, you know, why it was such an issue 2 days before. You know?
Yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised to see at the test that the times from the top 5, top 6 guys are really competitive with each other. So it's really quite open who's going to get a top spot on the podium.
Our target audience is 15 to 17-year-old or 15 to 18-year-old drivers. And 95 or 97% of all the drivers racing here this weekend have never started in an FIA Formula 4 car before, or any kind of Formula cars. They don't even have a road license to drive their father's road car. So I suspect that maybe we will have 5 or 6 jump starts.
I think probably the first race there might be a bit of carnage, but definitely they'll start to calm down and just drive like normal race car drivers. And you know, what a perfect place to do this in Sepang, the sunshine and the blue skies. So it should be a cracker of a day.
Cars ready, teams ready. The drivers are ready ahead of the first race of the inaugural Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. All to play for. That's it for this week. In the next episode, we get set to see the lights go out on the first race of the season.
A brand new championship, a brand new car, and a whole host of young, talented drivers.
And racing, don't forget the racing.
And we will be here to make sure that you don't miss a thing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the 2016 F4 Southeast Asia Championship.
Bye-bye.